Take a look. It's Monday, July 7th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com, and it's time to get in the weeds. It is a marvelous Monday, as I said at the top. It's nice and sunny. It's way too hot in the city of Toronto. I was outside this morning. I was not in a good space. I felt like I was about to pass right out, and I'm hydrated, baby. Don't let the Diet Coke in the morning fool you. I'm well hydrated first thing in the morning. There's a lot of water coursing through these old bones, but it's hot. Be safe out there, man. With me, as always, on a Monday morning is the original green shirt guy, Jeremy Lambert. Hello.
Original green shirt guy?
Yeah, you know, the green shirt guy from wrestling. Goes to all the shows. Yeah, smiley guy, I think he goes by on the internet. Yeah.
He's fine, right? He's okay?
I mean, I haven't seen anything that's been like he's real POS. He seems to be a guy who likes to go to wrestling shows and wears a green shirt 98% of the time, except for when he used to wear, I think he wore we posted something on socials. I think someone found on Reddit that he used to wear a Vikings jersey. Something like that.
Oh, yeah. Steven Jensen.
There you go. Steven Jensen is the original green shirt guy. Jeremy is the imposter. How you doing?
I'm well. I know it was a weekend. Went to the pool a lot because it was no wrestling, which was very nice. And what else did I do this weekend? Nothing. Just went to the pool, played some video games for once in my life. Watched movies, Joel. You ever done that before? Just watch movies?
The last movie I saw in a theater was Super Mario Bros. So that's how long it was. What'd you watch?
We didn't go to a theater. We watched some classics. We weren't going to no theater. Are you kidding me? We watched The Negotiator.
Is that Denzel?
Samuel.
Okay.
Yeah. That's racist.
It was. You suck.
Watched The Negotiator and watched Shallow Hal. Yeah, that was an old one there.
That's a movie that does not translate ever.
We wanted to watch just like a dumb comedy, and Shallow Hal's a very dumb comedy. Very dumb. Fairly Brothers, man, they were on some good stuff when they were creating movies. I don't know what they were on, but they were on some really good stuff. Shallow Hal, it's not appropriate nowadays for sure, but it's still funny. It's still a funny movie.
Fair. I mean, I probably wouldn't go back and watch it because Jack Black only does so much for me, as in I can watch him once and be done with it. He played Bowser in the Mario movie that I talked about a few minutes ago. But other than that, I don't go out of my way. People quote School of Rock all the time, and it's like, sure, that's
a good one.
That was a good one, but I don't go out of my way for Jack Black. He's, someone else. People are like, yeah, anyone else watch the Minecraft movie? Yeah, I just put him in there. He was Minecraft Steve, and everyone was like, oh, he's Steve. And I was like, all right, I get this, but I also don't care. So I'm glad somebody enjoyed it.
Kevin Spacey is in The Negotiator, and the wife had feelings about, I don't like that he's in this movie. I don't want to watch this movie because he's in it. But sometimes you got to just watch movies even when bad people. Because if you go through and you look at how many bad people are in these movies, you're probably going to find one or two in all of them.
Buddy, you ain't going to watch any movies. You ain't going to be watching wrestling. You're not going to be watching anything when you find out what a lot of these people do and say and feel. And a lot of them don't add up to what your moral compass may have in mind. Yeah. That's why we say artists, entertainment, there is a line, and everyone's line is different. But, it's different. Everyone's line is different. End of sentence. That being said, apparently it was a Baltimore Ravens jersey that the green shirt guy had on.
Oh,
Grace corrected me in the chat. Someone else was like, hey, it was a Vikings jersey. Well, no, it wasn't. We were wrong, pile driver. We were both wrong. Gray's got it right. It is a Baltimore Ravens jersey. Before we get a little further into our discussion of absolutely nothing, we are a morning show. If you haven't noticed by now, at least on the East Coast, it is 10 o'clock, 10:10. If you're on the West Coast, it's 7 a.m. So God bless for you waking up and being at it. Maybe you've been up all night. I don't know. Enjoy. Maybe you're over across the pond and it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock, whatever. Welcome. This is the morning show that we do here on Fightful. And every Monday, the first Monday of every month, Jeremy and I take it over. Sometimes SP3 if one of us is unavailable. SP3 is our third host on this show, and we go in the weeds. We talk a little wrestling. We talk a lot of other stuff, and we just kind of get by. And in our chat rules, and you also get in on it and hang out with us. You can be in the chat and hang out, or you can support us afterwards, leaving a thumbs up on the video. You can leave that thumbs up now. You can subscribe to us here on Fightful. You can join FightfulSelect.com if you want to do the money thing, or if you want to donate a super chat, any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. The fireworks are going off to remind you subliminally, leave that thumbs up. And of course, you can join our sister channel, that's Fightful Overbooked. That's where Jeremy, SP3, and I are every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, doing literally what we're doing now. What is it? You don't know. Some people love it, some people don't, and the people who don't are still going to come around because I just don't understand why. Zeno Hour, before we even got on the air, some people should know about Zeno Hour. Zeno Hour won a very important contest over on our other channel on Overbooked. We're using the XP point system. Okay, what is that? Basically, with the chatters,
Stupid.
It is stupid, but it's our brand of stupid, so it's perfect. Our chat gets more points every time they interact and engage with the show that we're doing, and our chat rules because they do that. Zeno Hour won the inaugural XP contest, where every month the XP winner gets a cameo from Brian Alvarez. Yes, that Brian Alvarez. So he'll be seeing that very soon. When it arrives, I'm sure the cameo will be here in a matter of days. But Zeno Hour also sent a message this morning, said, as the reigning defending ITW World Live Chat Mega Champion, which I appreciate the name, I'm using my creative control I think you mean clause. Using my creative control clause, Mercedes discourse will be limited to 3 minutes. The remainder will be NBA Summer League talk. Thank you. I think you think this is Tuesday. That being said, how about that G League?
Two things.
Go ahead.
Number one.
Hey, the balloons are back.
Number one. Brian Alvarez has received the cameo request.
Yes.
As we kind of did that on air last time. That was on Friday. He has received the request. He has 7 days to answer. Well, we're at day 3 with no answer. So Brian clearly had a busy weekend, not knowing what's going on in the Texas Death Match.
Maybe if you had submitted this request wearing a cape, he would have done it faster.
So Brian still has 4 more days to answer our request, and we'll play that cameo on air. I'm not even going to watch it beforehand. I'm just going to play it on air and see what happens. Hopefully it goes well. Probably won't, but hopefully it does. The second thing was, I like Zeno Hour's request. I would love to talk NBA Summer League, because I did watch a handful of games. I had to...
It's not like you had anything else to do this weekend.
Nah, I wasn't going to watch. I mean, I watched SmackDown. I watched Collision. I watched all the shows. I covered both of the shows. But I also watched NBA Summer League because Nikola Topic of the OKC Thunder made his Summer League debut and looked okay. A lot of turnovers to be expected. First game in 14 months. First organized basketball game in 14 months. He was clearly overwhelmed a little bit by the pace and the aggressiveness. And the guys he plays with aren't very good. AJ Mitchell's good. NBA champion AJ Mitchell. He's good. The rest of those dudes on that team, they ain't going to be on an NBA team. So we'll see if he does a little bit better. VJ Edgecombe, he was taking every single shot that was out there. Good for him. Bronny James, I thought Bronny looked pretty good. Defensively, he looked a lot better this year than he did last year. He might actually be a little bit of a player this year for the Lakers. So yeah, I watched some Summer League. It was like Saturday night, I think it was. And Summer League started on Saturday, and it started at like 2 o'clock or something, maybe 5 o'clock. But before the Thunder game started, which was at 7, I just apologized to the wife. I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, well, oh God, what? I was like, basketball's on tonight. She's like, Yeah, I'm sure it is. The season doesn't end. That's her running joke, is that the season just doesn't end, which is kind of technically true because it's literally, dude, the Thunder won the title two weeks ago. It was a basketball game less than 2 weeks later. It was Summer League, but it was still a basketball game. The season really doesn't end, though. Yeah. I did watch the Summer League, though. Good stuff.
The Raptors don't start until Friday, so I don't have to worry.
Really? There's like the Utah Summer League, and then they go to like Los Angeles. So maybe the Raptors are just in the Los Angeles Summer League portion.
No, they're in the Vegas part. They don't start
Vegas, not Los Angeles.
Yeah, they did California. They did Salt Lake City the same time. Those were the 5th to the 8th. I'm just looking at the Summer League calendar now, and now they're going to Vegas for the 2K26 Summer League.
Yeah, I think like everyone's in the Vegas Summer League, but certain teams do Salt Lake City and LA first. I think OKC was in Salt Lake City, so yeah, there you go.
Raps and Magic. That's going to be 6 p.m.
Can you name any player on the Raptors Summer League roster?
No, but I'm sure if I open up the roster like I am right now, AJ Lawson. There you go.
Is he? Okay.
Grady Dick. He's going to be playing.
Grady Dick's not playing in Summer League.
he's on the upcoming dates roster.
Nah, there's no way Grady.
He's probably not playing.
Grady Dick's in his 3rd year. He's not playing in Summer League.
Hey man, some people just want to get out there and play. The season never ends.
I mean, that's fair. Like Darius Baisley's on a Summer League roster, and he was drafted by the Thunder in like 2018. So he's still just trying to make a roster. Some players are clearly too good for Summer League. Like AJ Mitchell's too good for Summer League at this point. I remember it was going into his 2nd year. Jalen Williams, J-Dub, not J-Will. He had a good rookie season. He had a really good rookie season. And he played like 1 quarter in Summer League, and everyone realized, yeah, he's too good to be in Summer League right now. And he's like, oh, I was only playing because I wanted to make sure I could play with braids, because he had his hair out for the first season. And then he switched to braids in his 2nd season. He's like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure like I could play with braids in. And I'm like, okay, J-Dub. But yeah, some players are clearly too good for Summer League.
AJ Lawson is playing Summer League. No, Grady Dick is not, of course. I was pulling up whatever I could. Chucky Hepburn. There you go. There's another one. Jamal Shade, Jacoby Walter. They're just draft pick names that are coming in.
Yeah, I don't know these people. Some people were talking about like, could you imagine if like the NFL had like a Summer League, you had all these rookies going after each other 2 weeks after getting drafted?
It sounds like an awful idea.
It is kind of insane that the Summer League like exists. Hockey's different because, you know, most rookies don't even make it into the NHL their first year. There are some exceptions, but a lot of draft picks go back to their minor league team or in the AHL for maybe a season. But yeah, a lot of draft picks don't make it their first season. And that's sort of the case in basketball. A lot of draft picks might go 2-way contracts for their first season or just don't get a ton of playing time. Football, they get thrown right in there a lot of times. But yeah, having the football players play like 2 weeks after you're drafted, playing in like some type of Summer League showcase would be kind of insane.
So in basketball, there's no like farm teams.
Yeah, there is. There's the G League teams. Yeah,
the G League teams. Oh, but they're playing the same time as the main schedule guys around that time.
The G League and the Summer League are kind of hand in hand.
Okay, yeah. I'm asking because I don't follow basketball. People know this about me. I follow hockey. I follow baseball to an extent. I'm not a big football guy, but like for hockey, like I know every team has a farm team, and there's also like a billion other places you can go to play during the season and the off season. So for me, like I get hockey. Baseball, same thing. I understand the AAA teams, the AA teams, and all that stuff. But I've never thought about it with basketball because I always thought, you know what I thought? I thought the G League for a while was the Summer League team. The Summer League just reestablished as the G. Like the G League was the Summer League, and then they just rebranded or something. But clearly not the case. G League happens during the year, and then Summer League is during the summer. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, they have G League games during the season, and because OKC's teams like the OKC Blue, and their G League affiliate is like just up the street from their NBA affiliate, so it makes it very easy to like send guys back and forth. Although they're changing the rule for that this year, but it makes it very easy to send guys back and forth to get work in in the G League while the home team is still at home. Other teams might have a G League team that's a state away or 2 states away, and so it makes it a little bit more difficult to do things like that.
Yeah, I see draws in the chat. Also, college players finish up and go pro in hockey. But if they don't go pro, then they just go down to whatever the affiliate teams are. So for the other Senators, they go to Binghamton.
I know you don't care about this trade at all, Joel.
No, that's fine. I saw Matthew Hooks just posting in the chat.
Oh, did someone post
he said an NBA trade just happened.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So the Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to Miami, John Collins to Los Angeles, and Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2026 Clippers 2027 Clippers second round pick to the Jazz. Okay. That's a nice little trade right there. I like that for Miami and Los Angeles. The Clippers definitely wanted like a stretch 5. Or stretch 4, which John Collins is. Norman Powell was really good for them last year as a kind of third scorer. But once Kawhi returned, he kind of took a step back. And now they've added Brook Lopez, so maybe they think Brook Lopez can replace some of his scoring. I like it for Miami. Miami didn't give up anything. Kevin Love wasn't really playing. Kyle Anderson is like fine, but they get a legit score in Norman Powell. It's a good trade for Miami.
I'm sure you and SB3 will be talking more about that and other trades tomorrow. One thing I did watch this weekend, outside of the wrestling, of course, was the final Black Sabbath concert. The Back to the Beginning show. This was really fun. I got a chance to watch the bulk of it. I mean, it was a long show and there were multiple bands, but obviously Metallica, Pantera, and Anthrax, and watching Ozzy and the Black Sabbath guys do one last run was really cool. I'm not the biggest nostalgia guy, and I had a very interesting long conversation with a pop culture writer that I met this weekend. I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but we were just talking about like nostalgia being such a huge draw, whether it's in wrestling or in music or entertainment, whatever. This show was it was a lot of fun. It was cool to watch all these artists pay tribute and pay homage to Black Sabbath while still performing their own songs. And also it felt like everyone picked one or two obscure Sabbath songs that you can go and play without taking away from the songs that Black Sabbath were going to perform, because that's something that is like a concert faux pas. People used to say you never wear the band's t-shirt at the show that you're going to. Well, no, the real point was that the band who is on the undercard is never supposed to play the songs of the band that they're opening for. Kind of like in wrestling, where if you've got a big table spot on the undercard, but the main event wants to do it, well, then the main event gets to do it, and you got to find something else. So same idea here. But this was a really fun show. I mean, Ozzy's sitting the whole time. He's all of 77 years old, and he's been through the ringer. So he's got his big black throne of a chair, but he's still belting it out. He's not going to be perfect, but he's going to be emotional. And then I see Ken mentioning that they sang "I'm Coming Home," and he got emotional. Like he really understood in that moment that like this is it. This is the last show that they wanted to do or planned to do. We also know that can easily change if someone's given an inordinate amount of money. That being said, I think Ozzy's live show days are behind him. I think he's done. Jason Momoa would beat the shit out of me in a fight. He was in the pits during Pantera. Like he was in it.
Bless.
Okay. I've been in the pit when I was 18 through the age of 25, and then I was like, I'm going to stand by the soundboard now. I'm an old man. No, Jason Momoa was good for that. It was a fun show, though. Again, if you like all those bands and you're into metal and you want to just watch the respectful like finish to a band that had a huge impact on so many artists, both in and out of rock and roll, this is a really fun concert. And I think for people who can find it, go watch it, because yeah, really solid.
I heard it was good. I'm not like a Sabbath fan or anything, but I did see some tweets about it on the timeline, and that and the Oasis reunion. I saw a lot of stuff about that.
It was wild that I found on my YouTube algorithm, it got pushed out, the show that Oasis did from like 2007 that got pro shot and uploaded to someone's channel, and like the first comment was like, they're reuniting for the first time, and this is like the top of everyone's algorithm, a show from 25 years ago. Like, let that sink in. I was like, that's pretty cool. It's popularity, but yeah, it was
was never like the biggest Oasis fan. Obviously, their hits, listen to those all the time. Still listen to them, but never got big.
I was never big into them either. I was never super into them, but whenever I would play any of their stuff at like at a gig that I had, whether it was a wedding gig or a bar gig, like people got into it. So I can't deny their popularity, especially the hits. It's fun to play their hits, and except for Wonderwall, when a crazy band leader says we're going to play it for the 4th time in one night. That happened to me, and it absolutely drove me off the edge. I hated it. But when you get to play their stuff in an enjoyable setting, it's good. I saw some of the stuff from the Oasis concert too, but I despise filming in the pit, like people who just pull out their phones and then upload the footage.
Yeah.
Just the concert, it just sounds awful. The microphone on your little piddly phone is not capturing any of what you're actually hearing, which is still very loud. Whereas when I can find pro shot stuff that's been done by a team and it's been edited and it's been put together properly, I love that shit. When I can find that, I'm gonna watch that all day long. But yeah, stuff from the balcony of like Row ZZ is like, no thanks.
I'm sure they'll put that out on like a DVD or a streaming special at some point, right? Like,
Oasis?
Yeah.
100%. If you can make money off of like the last show,
yeah,
they're gonna do it. They're gonna go nuts. If they don't do a live stream for whatever they consider the last live show, then they'll absolutely take this tour and like put it together in a compilation of everything called the last tour.
I'm not big. Yeah, I went to Kendrick the other week. I don't like taking videos and photos when I'm at like a concert. I like to just be in the moment and just enjoy that stuff. The wife's a big picture taker, and she likes to do that kind of stuff. I'm not saying like it takes people out of the moment, but I'm just like, man, I don't care to just have my phone out. The only videos I took from the Kendrick concert, I took the first course of, or not the first course, but the first verse of Not Like Us, because I mainly took these just to have so I could show the wife, because I know she likes the song. I took all of Euphoria. I'm gonna pull up Euphoria that I took on my phone.
It's like a 6-minute song.
Yeah, it rules. It's one of the greatest rap songs of all time.
While you're doing that, it just reminded me, like 6-minute songs and recording it. So whenever I record anything on my phone, it's usually set to like 4K 30 frames per second. When I was doing WrestleMania week stuff, I had to, like, I got, for the first time ever in my life, your phone is out of storage while I was taping stuff. And I was like, oh shit, this does happen. So yeah, it's fun. There you go.
Yeah, it's a 6.5-minute song. But like, I don't watch it. You know, some people will like record it and they're like watching it through their phone and everything. You'll see in this video, I don't care at all about that. This thing's all over the place because I'm going with this song. Again, this is one of the greatest songs of all time. We're going to play it. You think we'll get copyright struck?
I mean, there is a chance, but...
Yeah. It's not super loud.
But it's main channel. What's the worst that could happen?
It's not super loud. Kendrick doesn't care about copyright strike.
True.
So everybody can see this video here. Oh, it just blends in. Oh, no. The green screen eats it up. Oh, wow. See, look, the phone's all over the place. I'm filming the rooftop at this point because I'm just going on this. So, yeah, that's my recording of Euphoria because I'm into the song, man. This is legitimately one of my favorite songs ever. And when he's going, I'm with them. So, yeah.
I doubt you'll have any copyright issues with that. You could barely hear it and you could barely see it thanks to the green screen.
Yeah, bless the people who like will record stuff on their phone and then watch the concert through their phone. Like, I'm trying to be in the moment, man.
100%. I think more people should be in the moment. I get that, like, there's so many artists that are doing the bagging the phones and pouching the phones, and we did that when we went to the Sami Zayn comedy show, and like there's multiple reasons for it, and one of them is let's try having an event that isn't based around you sharing it with the world. Like, try and be in a space in the moment, enjoying it as a collective group in there once in a lifetime. I'm a big fan of that. When I brought a camera to a concert, I would bring like a camera, a proper camera. It wouldn't be something that I'm bringing for socials. It would be something that like I would take photos and then later on I'd go through them and be like, these are the cool photos I took at this concert. But I was never watching the whole show through the lens of my camera. It was just trying to get the best shots I could, and then the rest of the time enjoying what I'm watching. It sucks. This is such a millennial conversation versus other people who just want to, watch the show like this. That's fine. I get it, but it's not for me. I want to be there. I want to be enjoying the moment.
Yeah, some people saying that like they like to capture the moment and everything. Like I get that. Like again, I'm not opposed to people who do it. Like, I understand. Let's capture the moment. Like I don't regret like recording that song and like having that on my phone, because I do go back and watch it. I'm like, yeah, this was really fun. But I can capture that with like just a couple of photos and then put my phone down, and then it takes me back to that space. Yeah, I think the people who just want to post stuff on social media, like I'll never post that video on social media just because I don't feel like it. But yeah, the people who post it on social media, that's the people that's like, all right, just enjoy it. Like not everything has to just be a social media post. Just enjoy that you are in the moment. I did post the Not Like Us video on social media, so that one I did capture for social media, I guess.
Going for your social media clout, you vampire.
It didn't even get like a ton of traction because I didn't caption it like anything of like at Kendrick Lamar, he's dissing Drake, it's not like us. Like I captioned it like legitimately, why you trolling like a bitch? That was the caption on it, and you got to click the video and you see what it actually is. So it's not even like a good caption or whatever. You know what got more traction for me, got more likes, was I took the photo outside of Mom Spaghetti.
That's right.
And I captioned that, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on a sweater already, and then the photo's Mom Spaghetti. That got more traction than the video of Not Like Us. So yeah, the people just want to post everything on social media. It's like just stop. Just if you're gonna post it for yourself, fine. But not everything's gotta live on social media.
It's like I see Redmond Survivor saying, take a handful of videos, but it's not always for social media. Some people will have their phones up the entire show. And like when I was doing stuff for media for the collective, like my hand was in the air with my phone for a lot of those moments because I needed to. That's different. But when you're at the show and you're a paying customer and you're just trying to like enjoy the vibe, go enjoy the vibe, man. Take some videos, take some photos. I'm okay with it. I get it. I also understand some of the artists who want to keep their stuff, like at the show. I want to make it a special in-house experience for the artists and the fans. They want to try and bring the intimacy back to the concert experience, which I also understand. That's why I don't really talk about it, because I don't get angry at the idea of doing it. I don't sometimes I don't love it, but I fully understand why they do it. So it's a two-way street. It really is. If you're the artist, you do get a say in what you do, because this is your house, this is your show. Granted, the fans are paying to come and see you, but just because you're paying doesn't mean the customer's always right. It's just this is the unwritten, unsigned contract that you've paid into. That's all.
People are asking in the chat stuff that you certainly don't care about, Joel, but did you see Drake driving around town in his Iceman truck?
I saw it. I wasn't going to really say anything because it's like Toronto is a ginormous city, and I did not see it. I've seen the Iceman trucks before, but part of me wonders.
Did you listen? Oh, go ahead.
I haven't listened to the song. I heard about it a little bit with the pools and the guns and all that stuff, and it's like, sure, whatever. Man thinks he's tough after talking about how poor he is and how this litigation is going to ruin him. Sure.
Cowardly that you didn't listen.
I'm going to listen to it. I don't give a shit. Anyway, the Iceman stuff. So yes, it is a brand of ice that exists, but also someone actually asked a question on the Fightful Q&A this week about George Iceman from TNA, the personal concierge. They were like, well, so that was the thing. They were like, they don't know much about him. So like,
how did we get into TNA out of this? Joel, how are you making this about TNA?
Well, George is the Iceman. Actually,
stop it.
So no, let me explain. So Sean comes to me, and Sean knows that I live here, and he's like, hey, I got a question from the Q&A, and I'm just curious, like, if you know anything about George Iceman. I was like, well, actually, Iceman used to be a pretty well-known concert promoter in Toronto and like a hustler. So like he has connections to the Toronto music scene and like the concert scene. So there's a part of me that's like, I wonder if at one point Drake had some sort of interaction with Iceman or knew about him, because George was out there. So that's the only thing I'm doing with TNA talk. I see it in your face. I get it, chat. I know, but I just wanted to put it out there that like Iceman has a connection to Toronto through concerts, through artists. I wondered for 2 seconds. Joel, stop making TNA a thing. It'll never be a thing. Ask WWE. They will probably agree while also finding the talent there.
So a couple of rap notes from my pals in the chat, because they are asking in the chat. Everybody, people just think we like talking about this stuff, which I do. I do enjoy talking about.
I was gonna say we do.
The Drake song, it's catchy. Keep waving me hands, making me dance. There won't be no problems. Like, it's a catchy song. I'll give him that. He makes catchy music. He really does. It's not a good song. Like, lyrically, it's not good. The whole still sneak dissing, acting like, I kind of respect in a weird way. I respect that like he just can't take this L at all. And he's gotta like act like it's not bothering him, but it's clearly still bothering him. He's mentioned the pop out. He's talking about LeBron or DeMar DeRozan, depending on who you believe. He's talking about them showing up at the pop out, which took place on Juneteenth last year. It was over a year old, this pop out concert. And he's still bringing it up. He's like, oh, everybody switched sides on me and stuff. Like, dude, all right, man. Like, we get it. We get it. But it's a catchy song. Like, legitimately, if he just, like, kind of ignored what happened over the last year and just let it play out in court, legitimately let it play out in court, because that's what he's trying to do. If he just, like, made catchy songs, I feel like people would respect him more. That it's like, oh, Drake's just back making catchy music, and he's not bothered by this beef anymore. It's been a year. He's still suing him, whatever. But he's still so bothered by it that he has to bring it up, and he still has to sneak this. It's honestly hilarious. But it's a catchy song, because, you know, that's what Drake does. The whole, let's go. Like, all right. That shit just gets stuck in your head. You know, you listen to it once, it's like, it's a basic line. It's the most basic line ever. It's what every white person yells at a sports game, you know? Like, after your team makes a basket or a goal, let's go! Like, that's what every single person yells. And that's what he just decided to throw in there. It's like, yeah, of course it gets stuck in your head. I'm excited about the new album just because I want to see how much of an idiot he's going to be on this album. Like, is he going to continue to just, like, push things and make things worse for himself? Because I feel like he is. He already is with this song. He's still doing these sneak disses on this song. So he's going to make it worse on himself with a full album. That's why I'm excited for the album.
Phil had kind of mentioned this. I don't know if it was on socials or on a show, but he was talking about how Drake loves to basically like do the "woe is me," villainize everyone gimmick.
It's funny.
And I was like, it's true. That is something that he does. And on top of that, he doesn't. He'll never get it, but he'll make a good song that people will eventually get into, and that's cool. Like that's music. You make a good track, people are into it. But it's always going to be there. The back of his head, it's always going to be there. What happened to him and how he was decimated in many circles. But it doesn't matter. The dude's got one of the hottest music careers in modern time. Like, you just go ahead, man. Just keep going. Just keep doing your thing. Just come back. Your fans are still there for you. You'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, the Drake stands love all this stuff. They don't care that he lost at all.
Exactly. They'll come back. Don't you worry. It's okay. So it's it's silly. I'm not a Drake fan. I've never been a Drake fan. People know I've been on his neck for 13, 14 years now.
That's very true.
So I just don't care.
He makes catchy music. Like, I'll never take that away from him. Like, his songs are catchy, and just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Zeno Hour saying, did y'all listen to Jid and Eminem? Of course I did. Of course I listened to the new Marshall. That's some real rap right there. Like no chorus, no like, hey, let's make a catchy chorus that everybody can sing along to. Nah, straight rap for like 5.5 minutes. They both kill it. I'm so excited for the JID album. The Prelux, I think he calls it, like 4 tracks that came out. That's really good. Him and Clips got albums on Friday, and college football. Although if you pre-order college football, you can play it later today. I'm not spending an extra $30 to play it 3 days early. I'll sit and I can play it Friday. I'm not that pressed about it. But yeah, JID and Clips, new albums on Friday. Oh, so excited. Real rap with JID and Clips, not this just catchy music with Drake or whoever else is making these auto-tune Fortnite raps that I can't listen to. Kids are into some of the rap, and they're like, oh yeah, like they like the Travis Scott, and who's the other one that just dropped an album? I don't even remember who it is. Kendrick was on one of the tracks. Playboy Cardi, that's who it is. Like, oh, I can't listen to this stuff. I can't listen to this Travis Scott and Playboy Cardi stuff. I don't know what they're saying half the time. It's all auto-tuned. There's no lyrics to it. It's just the beat just overwhelms you and it kicks the ass of the rapper. Just ain't good. I listened to that Jacob Fatu and Rikishi track. No comment.
I want to shout out my co-host Cresta Star, who Cresta does rule. She actually put something out, her feelings about that particular song. Go check that out. Yeah, I think she was 100% on the nose. It's not my thing to talk about, but I think that she made a really, really, really strong point in that. So I'll leave it at that. I heard some of the track and I was like, all right, sure, whatever. Some people are gonna like it and others are gonna feel different about it. So let's you want to hear a couple super chats?
Sure.
Cyclops better than Wolverine saying, Joel, why do you hate Drake in Canada? Why? I hate one of them, and it's definitely not Canada. I do quite love where I live. Shout out to the great country of Canada. None of your 51st state bullshit. Volog sent a super chat. You got the finger on the button.
Yeah.
Vanilla Fumble.
I'm Vanilla, baby.
Is what we call when it's main channel Monday and you don't have a leaderboard for today. No points towards Alvarez. There will be a day. The next Alvarez, I don't know, what are we calling this?
The XP? The XP1? That's what we're calling it. It's like the G1. It's the XP1.
I have a theory about the G1 this year.
Okay, don't bring up the Miz. You're gonna bring up the Miz.
No, that's always there. Every year is the Miz. The Takeshita's in the G1.
Yeah.
I know people were talking about the G1 and this being maybe Takeshita's year to win it and then headline the Dome. What if it's not the Dome? G1 is over August 13th, I think.
Yeah. Oh, Forbidden Door?
What if he calls it for Forbidden Door? Because that's what happened with Zach last year. He called it for Royal Quest, and that was that sent people, into a tizzy. But like, what if Don Callis comes out and is just like, I talked to my guy and I talked to New Japan and talked to Tony Khan and I want it to be a Forbidden Door and Keshta wants the same thing. What if they try to do that instead and set up something different for when you get to the Dome at the end of the year or the beginning of next year?
I don't love that because, one, they did it last year. Two, it made sense last year because Zach wanted the shot in England, so I can get behind that. Why would Takeshita want the shot in England?
And I get that. That's why I'm saying it would have to be Don Callis to come out there, and like Matthew Hooks is saying, it's a cool way to boost Forbidden Door. It's something you didn't really expect, and New Japan's not exactly on the hottest of hot runs. They were doing really well with Goto as their champion, but they're kind of stuck in a situation where they lost their champion. He went down with injury. They went back to Zack Sabre Jr. What's the play? Is the play now ZSJ and Ospreay, or is there something else that maybe is it Ospreay and Gabe Kidd? Like, what's the match, and also what makes the most sense? And could you just pivot to ZSJ and G1 winner Takeshita at a show like Forbidden Door?
I think it's gonna be Ospreay. I'm kind of convinced that Ospreay and Swerve are losing this weekend, so they can't challenge for the AEW title for a year. But why can't Ospreay challenge for the IWGP title. So, and then you do that at Forbidden Door. That's a big match for Forbidden Door. Those two, England, yeah, they'll be fine with that. Like, if I'm Takeshita, I want that match. If he wins, I don't even know if he's gonna win, but if he wins, I want that match at Tokyo Dome. It's freaking Tokyo Dome. Like, you should want that match at Tokyo Dome. So I don't love them going to that. I get your point. I do get your point. I just don't love them going to that 2 years in a row. And last year it made sense. Zach in England, Takeshita in England doesn't make quite as much sense.
I get it. Again, that's why I kind of bring it up as a theory, and it's nothing that I'm married to, but it is something that I could see them wanting to do, not just for the partnership, but also for making things a little more, I don't know, just unexpected.
I mean, you're getting New Japan AEW matches regardless. I don't think you needed like a for the partnership thing. If he faces Ospreay, that's for the partnership. So
I think it's more that the idea is this time, for the first time in Forbidden Door, or at least that I can think of or remember, you're really banking on the possibility of a big title change, because it's not like they've done any big ones, right? They did Naito and Mox.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was
pretty big.
It was big, but it felt like it was in service of Moxley going back to New Japan anyway, right?
Okay, well, what are you doing with this title change? This is in service of Takeshita also working New Japan.
I think their hope there is that Takeshita would be on AEW TV with the title a little bit more, because Mox really wasn't, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I think Mox defended the title on AEW television. That's when
was it him and Ishii?
My time probably. My timeline always gets messed up, but
that's the thing. I'm always wondering. Like, and Henry's, hopefully joking, not big enough for Joel. Nothing's ever big enough for Joel in this case. But it is a way to boost the Forbidden Door kind of lore, and again, give you another match on this card that you can believe could have a new champion attached to it. It's rare at Forbidden Door that the matches like really make it's not about making sense. It's when you put a title on the line, you don't always expect it to change hands at a Forbidden Door show. How's that? Except for the one time they did it with Mox and Naito.
It wasn't Mox and Naito at Forbidden Door. It was Mox and Tanahashi for the interim AEW title because Punk was out.
Right.
They did do Mox and Naito at Forbidden Door. That was a match that happened. I think that's when Naito won it back, though, right? Yeah, that's when Naito won it back. All right, now my memory's getting jogged a little bit. When Moxley won the title from him in Chicago at the Windy City show, and then he defended it at least once. That was the Hobbs match where Hobbs got hurt.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's why we don't really remember it, because Hobbs got hurt.
Yeah. And then, Naito won it back from him at Forbidden Door. So they've done like a title change on Forbidden Door, and Moxley did defend when he was the champion. He did defend the title on AEW television, and then people got upset that Hobbs was the challenger, and then so they did like the eliminator matches after that to smooth it over. Of like, okay, fine, we can't just give Powerhouse Hobbs a championship match because now the people in New Japan are getting mad of like, why are they getting a championship match? So yeah, they've done title changes at Forbidden Door before. I just don't love Takeshita and Zack Sabre at Forbidden Door. I'd rather just, if it is Zack Sabre who makes it to Wrestle Kingdom next year, I'd rather Takeshita just get a shot at Wrestle, because you got to reestablish that G1 means Wrestle Kingdom main event. Because last year they went away from that. I know Zack Sabre was the champion, so he actually did still main event Wrestle Kingdom. I get it. But you still got to reestablish that, like, okay, you just don't get it anytime. Like the G1, it is the most grueling tournament. And you get out of that the Wrestle Kingdom main event, which is the most prominent spot in New Japan. Like, you want a main event, the Tokyo Dome. So to go away from that 2 years in a row, I don't love.
Okay, I think that's fair. Well, again, we'll see how it plays out. I do think this is Takeshita's year for the G1. I know I'm very much not alone in that sentiment, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out and how the brackets kind of start when they start the competition. It is grueling. It is
Well,
a crazy month.
I'm pretty sure they released the schedule today. You can tell a lot about the G1 by who's wrestling who in
Yeah, it's true.
the final nights. Because whoever's main eventing those final nights typically is going to be, pretty important. So the final night for A block is Suji and oh wait, hold on. Okay.
What's the last night? Is that August 10th?
Yeah, Suji and Callum Newman,
Yeah,
Evil and Tanahashi,
fantastic.
Bolton and Tai Chi, and Yumura and Finley. I can't tell shit from that lineup.
Tsuji's gonna win the G1 is what you're getting at.
Suji. The final night for B block is Phantasmo and Gabe Kidd, Drilla and Shingo, Narita Takeshita, Yoshihashi, Zack Sabre, and Umino and Okan. This G1 lineup is kind of... Yeah, Takeshita and Narita is probably a big match.
Yeah.
This lineup is kind of top heavy, honestly.
So, yeah.
Suji and Finley is definitely both these guys are going to be at the top of the bracket. So that's going to be an important match. But that's August 7th.
I'm so excited for when Yoshihashi beats Zack Sabre Jr. on the last night. That's going to happen.
Tanahashi and Evil.
That's going to be such a mishmash match. Dude, I'm excited for that one. I have to wait an entire month to get there. That rules. So, okay, this is kind of like where my brain was at, by the way. Takeshita winning at Forbidden Door and then Yota Tsuji challenging Takeshita at Wrestle Kingdom. That was kind of where I was going because listen, full disclosure, people know, like I'm not super deep into New Japan the way that like SB3 is, for example. But like I do try to keep track of things as they go. And that was kind of where my brain was going. And I don't know, it could happen, but Yoshihashi beating Zack Sabre Jr. and lost is there.
I forgot they do the tournament and then it's the playoffs. So like the top 3
end
up qualifying. So yeah, because it's top 3 and then it goes from there, it's much tougher to predict in that way. Because usually it's just the 2 block, or they've done in the past the top 2 and then they've cross matched, or sometimes they've done the same block face each other. So it's top 3 and the top 2 get a bye, 2 and 3 battle cross block, and then they do the tournament from there. It's a tough G1 to predict. I feel like they did it this way to make it more unpredictable because there's not... Takeshi's obviously a big standout. I think Gabe Kidd is a big standout. I'd put Finley in there as well, and Suji. Those are my top guys in there. So if I'm looking at B block, I'm looking at Takeshita, Gabe Kidd, probably Zack Sabre, because I don't think they're gonna beat him enough to put him down to 4th. So I'd look at those 3 from B block. And then A block, I'm looking at Tsuji, Finley. And if they want to elevate
Bolton Oleg.
Bolton Oleg or Yumura. I could see a world where they're like, it's Tanahashi's last G1, put him in the final 3. I could 100%
give him a bye. Just give him a bye.
It's a tough one to kind of call there.
Yeah, but either way, G1's going to kick off shortly, and it'll be
July 17th. 10 days.
10 days. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I see the 19th. Yeah, there's the 17th. Okay, there you go. Fun. It'll be the busiest month in New Japan Pro Wrestling when you're keeping track of all these G1 matches and trying to put your cards together for what could be Forbidden Door or for Wrestle Kingdom, getting into the end of the year. There's a lot. Maybe Takeshita will use his creative control to win the G1. Is he going to do that? Is that what he's going to do?
Oh. got some news.
Oh dear, I'm almost scared to ask.
It's good news, but
I like good news.
All right. Keep talking.
Okay, well, I guess we got to talk about what the discourse of the weekend/week was. That's how it works, by the way. It is. Takeshita wins, and Takeshita wasn't going to win, and then he said, "I'm using creative control." He said, that's not going to work for me, brother." But we'll see. The conversations have been weird this week. I have not been weighing in because I don't know how to put this to people nicely. I am a sane and sensible human being. Mercedes Moné, once again, in everyone's brain about whether or not she has creative control and if she has so much input and so much say that she gets to book her entire AEW career at this point. You ever think people think about, Jeremy, what happens? That's fair.
People don't think.
I could just finish the sentence. Do you, beyond the thinking, when they get past door number 1, do they think about door number 2, which is, man, what happens to all the people that Mercedes beats afterwards? Do they level up a little bit? Do they maybe, I don't know, get a little bit more time, whether it's TV time or just they're built up a little stronger, they're seen a little bit brighter, they're given more opportunities? You ever think about whether or not that's true? Because I think it is. I think every single time that she's gone up against somebody, while she might win, as we've discussed on our show and others, there are losers who win as well. And that is, they are given the opportunity to level up. We've seen that. We saw Harley Cameron is a fantastic example of this. She was already gaining favor with the crowds for the character work she was doing, but then she had a really, really, really great match with Mercedes Moné. Did she win the TBS title at that show? No, she didn't. But she went to Australia. They had the setting, they had the place, they had the idea, they had the outputs, and she came out looking great. I think when you get wrestlers who come out looking better than when they came in, that's like door number 2 to do you think. Door number 3 to do you think is, why are you paying attention to wrestlers and trusting them in the first place? When they tell you something, you take everything with a grain of salt. But I digress. The idea of creative control is lost on a lot of people. She doesn't have it because she doesn't get her way. Winning a match is not getting your way. If this woman were telling her, I'm going to, I'm not even going to think of anything so out there because then someone's going to run with it as like, this is proof and whatever. It's not. She doesn't have it, Jeremy. She has it, but it isn't creative control. It is influence. It is being able to pitch ideas and being able to pitch them to some people who really have her back. It is having a team that actually sees whatever vision this is and continues to push on it. It is also being given the opportunity to say, I will lose to this person, but then be like, no, we're going to do something different with creative. You're going to keep winning because we're on a storyline. And she'll say, okay. It is not creative control. It is a phrase that Jericho tried to get over and failed.
I feel like he got it over to an extent.
He really did. It was disgusting that he got it over. I can't believe it. The littlest, dumbest things, he did get it over. I'm sorry. Once in a while, you gotta. I know. Under no circumstances are you supposed to give it to anybody, but this is one time I will give it to Chris Jericho. What it is influence. What it is not creative control. She's not tearing up the script and saying that doesn't work for me. She's saying, what about this idea for my character? What about this idea for my character? And some people are saying yes. And some people are saying, okay, this is a collaborative situation. What if we do this instead? And she says, okay, this sounds good to me. And yes, there is influence and there is power. But power and influence is not creative control. Creative control is having 100% stake into what you're doing and not being collaborative. What she's doing is directly the opposite, and people are just getting mad that she's winning all the time. Goldberg didn't have creative control. I hope he has some creative control for Saturday when he beats Gunther for the World Championship. But yeah, I didn't participate in the conversation because when it comes to Twitter, I just don't. I've learned I just don't. But I'm putting it out there because so many people are so stuck wanting to move the goalposts to have the same stupid cyclical conversation and not listen to anyone else's realistic point of view / reporting. And instead, they just want to argue with the walls.
All right, you went way over the 3 minutes that Zeno Hour laid out for you. I should have put a stopwatch.
I was going to say, I didn't realize I went 3 minutes on that. Good for me.
You went way.
I was also trying to filibuster because you were trying to, do some stuff.
No, it was good.
Sometimes you need it
quickly. It was done quickly. People are dumb.
Yes. Period. End of sentence.
That's my comment. People are dumb. People just don't understand what creative control is. That's it. They don't understand what it actually is. Because they can't read and they don't understand the word control. It means you control your creative, your narrative, so to speak. She does not control her creative. She might have input on it. She might have suggestions. But she does not get to say, this is what I want to do. And Tony Khan has to be like, all right, you have creative control. I might not like it, but yes, you have creative control. This is what we are going to do. Because here's the thing. I think Mercedes would lose more if she had creative control. I truly believe that. Mercedes is somebody who wants to uplift the division and who wants to build up others and put others over. I'm sure she loves winning. It's always fun to win and collect a bunch of titles.
That shit gets heavy after a while, though. You got to carry that around. Even I would be like, hire someone else to do this, please.
But I think she knows that it's okay to lose. It's fine. You can still win in losing. I think she knows that. So I think she would lose more. But the creative for her is she wins everything. Okay, until she eventually loses. I think she's losing this Saturday at All In. I think Toni Storm's winning. And that's going to start the downfall. And then people are going to be like, oh, well, she's finally losing matches. Guess she doesn't have creative control.
No, they're going to say like, no, you absolutely know what it is. It's going to, they pivoted. Because everyone figured it out. Everyone realized that she had creative control. So someone told her, it's time to change it up. People they're going to move the goalposts to make their points. Yeah. That's just the way that goes. And it's obnoxious. And by the way, like you mentioned it, Mercedes would probably love to put more people over by having them, by her losing a match. But also, a lot of wrestlers have gained by her winning the match. And also, Mercedes, from a physical standpoint, she is much smaller than a lot of her opponents. And so as a heel character, as a bad guy, she cannot be plucky underdog. She has to be someone who either claws and scratches her way to victory or cheats. And sometimes that's exactly what she's doing. And I don't understand why people don't understand that she is playing the character that also works with her size and uses that to her advantage. Like there's an understanding of what she's good at, and she's good at this. But people want to hate. And I think, a lot of us fall into this issue, and that is the fan base for Mercedes is very passionate, very rabid. And for better or worse, they are those things. And to some people, that could be a turnoff. And I get that. And so they kind of channel their dislike of that group of people into a dislike for the performer that they love. That is another problem that kind of persists that I've noticed, because it's easy. It's easy to dislike someone who goes so hard for a favorite. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can just kind of be like, I'm glad you have your favorite. I'm going to go back over to my side now and enjoy what I enjoy.
Mercedes should wear red and yellow on Saturday.
I hope she does.
A Hogan leg drop.
Wear the boas. Just wear a giant boa and a big cowboy hat. Oh, she's in Texas. She'll probably wear a cowboy hat. Man, she should do her own Mega Powers cosplay.
When Toni Storm kicks out of the leg drop, she does the shocked face that every wrestler does. Like, huh? What? How did that happen? Rule.
I'm all about it. That's all it is. And again, there's so much funny discourse that comes from people being like, but the Beast Mortos, the Beast Mortos. Like, yeah, Beast Mortos is a great wrestler who's a great base for people to fly off of. He ain't winning these matches, but he's sure as shit performing really, really strongly for the company he's a part of.
Beast Mortos was getting regular bookings before Mercedes came around. Like, what are we talking about? That
But they weren't the main event. Who cares?
he was the main event of the CMLL show because he was a late replacement. And then he was a main event against Hangman because that made sense for the story of Hangman and Moxley. Because he's a dude who can take a loss. He's going to lose to Mystico on Thursday. Spoiler alert. Mystico ain't losing.
How dare you?
To Beast Mortos. It would rule if Beast Mortos won.
But I think they should have Beast Mortos win just to fuel the fire a little bit.
Yeah, Mystico ain't losing to Beast Mortos. So people are just dumb when it comes to this creative control stuff. No wrestler has it. You know how we all know no wrestler has it? Because Bryan Danielson would have never won the world title, and Sting would have lost the tag team titles. Sting wanted to lose. Sting didn't want to go out like that. He's old school. He thought dropping the titles would be the best thing. Danielson never wanted to win the world title. He thought he didn't need it. Tony Khan had to force these men to not lose and to win. If they had creative control, they would have been like, yeah, no, I'm not losing. Or I am losing because I don't need this title. Tony's like, no, you do need these titles. This is why I want you to win all of these matches. It's a you know who else has, why isn't this an argument with Jon Moxley? I want to talk about Moxley's title reign today.
Sure.
Why isn't this an argument that Jon Moxley has creative control? He wins a bunch of matches. He's held this title for, everyone kind of agrees, it's too long. You don't hear an argument of like, oh, Jon Moxley has creative control. Because everyone assumes, as they should, that he's losing on Saturday.
They're wrong.
I mean, I think it'd be hilarious.
By the way, I saw, so again, going back to Grapsity, they pointed out that they're doing the post party for All In, and it's like, imagine they all go to this post party. Moxley won the title. He retains the title. They're all sad at this party, just sitting there, just eating their peanuts. Like, the show sucked. That's why if Moxley and Hangman go on last, we know what's happening. If they don't, you know.
If they don't go on last, then yeah, Kenny and Okada's probably going on last and send the crowd home happy.
Yeah.
It's just a fantastic match. I imagine Moxley and Hangman are going on last. I imagine Hangman is going to win. But there's no argument that Moxley has creative control. But everyone knows Moxley has creative input because they've kind of said as much. People just latch on to Mercedes when she was in character saying, yeah, I have creative control. Like, oh, we know you don't. Like, it's fine. But we know Moxley has creative input, just like Mercedes has creative input, just like a lot of the top wrestlers have creative input. You don't think Toni Storm has input over what she does? You don't think Swerve has input over what he does? All the top wrestlers in every company, by the way. WWE, same thing. All these people got creative input because that's how it works with top stars. That doesn't mean you can fully shoot down an idea. That doesn't mean the idea you want to do is going to come to fruition. It just means you can suggest things, and then because you have that cachet, the head person, Tony Khan or Triple H, be like, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's do something like that. That's all it means. People just get so fixated on the control word without understanding what control actually means, because none of these idiots can read or have any type of comprehension.
They also rarely go after the guys, but that's a whole other can of worms.
They went after Ali for a while because he was winning all. Yeah, oh yeah. Because he was winning all the matches in TNA.
People were watching TNA at this point, and I didn't see they were
Sadly.
getting upset at Ali.
Ali posted the Hogan video.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man, I shudder to think that there were more than 10 people mentioning that he was having a Hogan-esque run at TNA.
Yeah, they do go after the women because it's Mercedes and Rhea. They like to do it with them. And then it was Becky.
Yeah, it's Becky is another one. And people in the chat were talking about, some people don't like the way Rhea Ripley's being promoted or being booked. And like, you can have a problem with the booking, that's fine. But then to turn around and be like, oh, just like Hogan, oh, and refuses to lose, oh, grave control. So you don't really get this. You don't understand what this is. You're just looking for ideas to latch onto from the wrestling you've heard about, not the backstage you don't know about. It's very silly. But they barely go after the guys. And you could go after Moxley. You could. Because he's had the title for 280 plus days. And he's had world title matches, several of them. But nobody wants to go after him because why? People were only going after him when the Death Rider story was in a lull and things were not looking very good and the promos weren't very strong and they were thinking that other people should hold the title. But no one was saying Jon Moxley creative control except for the Copeland stuff. They're actually saying it for Cope, which was even weirder. But anyway, the point is, it's so incredibly silly to watch people. I don't want to use the word crash out because I don't know if it's that, but people just having these weird arguments with the wall about stuff that they either don't understand or think they do. I know, that's the wall, brother. Isn't he dead? Yeah, the wall's dead. Been dead for 20 years. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
20 years.
I think he died in 2001. The wall, wasn't it Jerry something? Jerry Tuitt.
Oh.
Yeah, he died in 2003. He was only 36. Jesus Christ.
That's
anyway. Yep, he did. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not ready for Moxley's title reign to end. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I think we have a little more time left on it. I do. By the way, sorry, I was going to say shout out to Corey Brennan, who after Collision was like, so many title matches at All In, it really feels like they could do a big reset and a big moment. And I was like, it's going to be really funny when the TNT title is the only one that changes hands on Saturday.
Nah, I think Hangman's winning the world title.
We'll see.
Well, it'd be funny if he didn't. I would cackle. But I don't think they can miss.
I got them death hands, baby. Who needs diamond hands? You got death hands.
You can't miss this moment. You can't. So Moxley's title reign, I've seen some chatter about it. Like, we got to recognize it was much better than we gave it credit for. It's like, let's not do revisionist history here, folks. Let's not do that. I know everyone thinks it's going to end on Saturday, and it should. And this Hangman feud has been really good. The Orange Cassidy feud was fine because Orange Cassidy was a fine first challenger that nobody thought was going to win. That four-way stuff wasn't good. That Cope stuff was god-awful. And it went way too long. It got way better after the Cope stuff. Why? Because he feuded with actual top challengers after that. He feuded with Swerve and now Hangman. So people thought like, oh, there's a chance he's going to lose. But the original mission of the Moxley title reign, where he's killing Bryan Danielson in a great scene, and AEW is rallying to fight against him, got lost along the way. And then Moxley has become kind of a chicken shit after that. Like, after the Cope stuff, even before the Cope stuff, he kind of became a chicken shit heel, which didn't make a whole lot of sense for how it started. And it's prevalent to here because he's basically lying on what he actually knows. He's doing the running away from everybody. And that's a complete 180 from where this started, where he was willing to fight everybody to try to save AEW and build AEW in his words or in his vision. Now he's trying to say Hangman doesn't have it. Hangman's never been to the mountaintop. Hangman's never battled like I had. He did the same thing with Swerve. And Swerve and Hangman had to remind him, like, no, we've been there. We have battled. Hangman's like, I beat you in a Texas death match. Moxley is lying to himself about who Hangman and Swerve are, probably because he feels threatened. But that is a 180 of what we saw at the beginning of this story, where Moxley was willing to fight anybody and he wanted people to step up. And maybe he felt comfortable because there were no real threats stepping up to him. But they've switched how Moxley has acted. He has gone from wanting to batter everybody and build AEW in his vision to being threatened and being a little more cowardly heel and running away from the problems. It's been a switch. Has it worked? Maybe. I think it's worked to an extent that people were invested in Swerve, and people have invested in Hangman. I think Moxley has looked the best out of this in certain aspects, but it's been better after the Cope stuff for sure. Because the Cope stuff never made sense. Because they tried to do Cope, but he didn't fit either. Of AEW, focus on the young guys, build it in the vision, focus on the homegrown people. That didn't Cope at all. He's old. He's tired. Works with fucking children. The Cope didn't work at all in that. Swerve and Hangman work. But let's not do revisionist history of, oh, this title reign is overhated. Look at these really good matches. Yeah, there's some good matches in there. You wrestle enough matches, you're as good as Jon Moxley, you have the talent that AEW has, you're gonna have good matches in there. But let's not pretend like the majority of the Orange Cassidy stuff didn't quite hit. And I love Orange Cassidy. The build to the 4-way wasn't good. That 4-way wasn't flat as hell. All the Cope stuff outside of the spiked bat spot wasn't good.
Which was the blow off. That was it. People just wanted that. They had to make up for the night before.
That feud went on for like 3 months.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, the matches that they did, yeah, they just kept going after that. But they never fought for the title again outside of the street fight blow off.
I know that, but I'm saying like that feud went for like 3 months. It started at the end of World's End, right?
Yeah.
And then it ended at Revolution, which was early March. So at least 2 full months. So, yeah, let's not act like this was the greatest title reign ever. It was a fine title reign that got better once he faced guys that felt like threats. But we were all living through the early Death Rider stuff and the middle Death Rider stuff. No one was happy with that. No one.
And then they got to Swerve, and the Swerve Dynasty match was the first one that felt like, now you got to pivot because we're coming out of the Cope stuff. But when in reality, what we were doing was going back to the original story for Mox, which was, I want these guys to beat me. I want a homegrown talent to get this. It started to bring it kind of back up, and then the Mimosa Joe match at Beach Break was a little weird. I mean, again, I didn't love it. The steel cage match, like the build was weird, the timing was weird, but it was a good match.
The Gabe Kid stuff didn't make a ton of sense.
That part was not great. But again, the idea was they were bringing stuff back up to try and bring the Death Rider story back into prominence. And they had a lot of climbing to do after the stuff with Cope, because that was at its lowest point. I didn't know you said the 4-way wasn't great, and you're right. But like the idea was that we started on the ascent with Swerve. People felt a certain way because Swerve didn't win a dynasty. A lot of people got into their own pocket, or got into their own bags about having Strickland win the title, having Swerve win. Didn't happen. So people got real upset about that. But reality was, like, we were going towards All In Texas. We were going towards whatever this moment is supposed to be. And there was a lot of people who also thought maybe this was Darby, or maybe this was Ospreay, maybe this was Hangman. And Hangman kind of surged at the end to find his way into this main event. And I think that got a lot of people excited as well, because it didn't feel as expected as the other two names. And by the way, great problem to have where suddenly you've got three, high class wrestlers on your roster that could be going into the main event for this show. And Moxley's going to put up the title again. And this could be the culmination of it. And they needed to get here.
They got to where they wanted to go in the end, which was with Hangman. Maybe it's with Darby if they decide to keep the title on Moxley on Saturday.
Please just do it. Do it so I can have this moment. If Saturday night's main event goes off the air on Saturday night after having an AEW All In Texas but include Moxley retaining and then Goldberg winning the world title, I will be, and I think I'm solo at this rate for Saturday night's main event because Sean certainly doesn't know who's supposed to do the show with me, if anybody. So if it's just me, I'm just going to have the biggest shit-eating grin on my face.
Am I going to have to do this show?
I mean, you're welcome to if you want, but I don't know if people are ready for, Saturday nights in the weeds at this point. That could be a real problem show.
I don't want to do the show.
Don't do it. I could do solo if I need to. In the weeds me versus recapping a show me are very different.
I don't like doing show recaps. Everyone knows that. I would cackle if we have Moxley and Goldberg champions come Sunday morning. I think it'd be hilarious. I think one would be a huge miss. I'll let you figure out which one that is. One would be a huge miss.
If Mercedes won, is that what it is?
I don't think Mercedes is winning.
I don't think so either. Zeno Hour saying is Kate ducking Joel. No, Kate is doing the All In Texas post show and the Evolution post show the night after.
So she won't be. She'll be done before.
I wonder if she's doing. She might be doing a Saturday night's main event behind the paywall show. But I don't know. Saturday Nightmare's main event. That's what it is. No Cody on that card, but damn it, it's everyone's nightmare.
Not yet, anyway.
That's true. I wonder if they'll add Cody to the show. They've
it's
only
in
got
Atlanta.
They should, yeah. Do they have 2 matches or 3 matches?
They've got like 4. They've got Seth and LA Knight. They got Drew and Randy, and they got Goldberg and Gunther. They got to have a women's match on there. Well, I guess I'd say they have to have a women's
Friday.
match. But
they'll add it on Friday.
I'd say they'd have to have a women's match, but they have Evolution the next night. So maybe they feel like, oh, we don't need a women's match. I think that's dumb. You should still have a women's match, but it's not like they've done the greatest job in the world building this thing. What?
Jeremy, you know it's going to be the U.S. title triple threat. The U.S. women's title triple threat.
Who's the third?
It'll be the 3 champions.
Chelsea? Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like that's maybe Evolution. I don't know.
No, they have enough matches at Evolution. I think they have like 6 or 7 matches at this point. They've got the 2 title matches. They've got the Battle Royal. They got the tag match. They got the Jade and Naomi woman batter the match.
Yeah.
I think they might just do. Oh, and they got the Intercontinental Championship 3-way. Yeah, I think the U.S. title match is going to be on Saturday night's main event. Really do.
Yeah, they got the NXT title match at Evolution as well.
This
is like an 8-match show for Evolution.
This is the ultimate here damn card. I swear to God.
It really is. I mean, the fact that like they're doing 8 matches on this show and they never do this many matches for a PLE. It's like, we got to put all the women on this show to show that we care, even though we threw this together last minute just to take away time from AEW and just to take away time from AEW. That's it. That's their whole purpose and goal.
Oh, well. Charlexa is going to be part of that tag team 4-way.
I think they're going to win.
I think so too. Charlotte and Alexa have this triple threat tag team match on SmackDown. It's them versus the Secret Hervis versus B-Fab and Michin. And the finish is the best because they're doing Charlotte goes to the top rope for the moonsault and Alexa gets up on the apron and Charlotte does the nice girl pat on the head. And I'm like, that counts as a tag. And of course, the referee knows that too. So she does the moonsault. Referee notices that it's been a tag. So Charlotte has to basically get herself out of the ring. And Alexa comes in and does the Twisted Bliss, gets the win. And like, they're suddenly a team. I'm secretly loving this because it makes 0 sense, but it also makes all the sense. It's like they told you they used to be friends. But now they're like, now we have to be friends. I think this is the dumbest best tag team in the world. I think I'm all in on Charlexa.
Yeah, they've been fine. Like, they're both good characters, whether you like them or you don't. They're both good characters in terms of they bring the star power. They bring the star power, and they're recognizable, and they got history to play off of. If you don't like Charlotte's character because she wins too much, or sometimes she's a heel and sometimes she's a baby, like, I understand all of that. If you don't like Alexa's character because she's spooky but she's not, and like, I get why you might not like them, but they're both defined in the fact that they got a lot of history to play off of. Charlotte should beat everyone, by the way. She should pin everybody in this Evolution 4-way.
Stack them.
Yeah, stack all of them. Who cares about Raquel and Roxanne? They were just thrown together 2 days ago. The NXT team will probably be Sol Ruka and Zarya. They're having problems. What am I missing? A Raw team?
Probably going to be Kairi and Asuka. That's what I'm at. They haven't announced it yet, but I think it's Kairi and Asuka.
Okay, I like Kairi and Asuka, so I don't love Charlotte stacking them, but that's fine. It's okay. Alexa can just, like, hold them off on the outside of, like, spooky powers. Her and Asuka just, like, look at each other and, like, hey, remember when we held these titles for 2 days? And then Kairi is just there, and she's like, what's going on? Meanwhile, Charlotte pins everybody else.
You know the episode of South Park with the psychic powers?
Yeah.
That's what they should be doing. That's what Alexa should do. And everyone's like, oh no, what do we do? That's exactly what I should do. Yeah, no, I would be surprised if they have the tag titles stay on Roxanne and Raquel. But I don't know. You can make the argument that yes, it's thrown together tag team, but Judgment Day still has all the titles. You can keep together. Yeah, they're all thrown together. Charlotte and Alexa thrown together. The NXT tag team, whoever that's going to be, probably thrown together, unless it's Aruka, which have all just been friends. The Asuka and Kairi Sane tag team is not thrown together, but it's not like you haven't seen them tag team in a while, so it feels thrown together. Again, they've never shown much love for the tag team division.
They do matches when it benefits them to do matches, and otherwise they don't care.
Yeah, that's it. Just success. I do like this one. Like Wendy Chu should come out and help Spooky Alexa and Charlotte win the title.
Do we think like the Bellas get into this match as like a last minute thing?
Should they be the Raw tag team, even though they're not officially signed to Raw? They should come out on NXT. Ava should be like, the team that I have selected to face the women's tag team champions is this team. They're signed to a 1-day contract with NXT. That's perfect. Oh, someone should sign a 1-day contract just to get in the match, and it should be the Bellas. There it is.
I think they might just like come out at the show. It's like all 4 teams are in the ring, and the bell's about to ring, and then all of a sudden, you can look, but you can't touch. And then here comes Nikki, and Nikki's like, I was a pioneer of the women's division. You can't have Evolution without Nikki, but I didn't come alone. And you're Bree mode. And Bree comes out.
Bree mode.
And then Bree comes out, and they're just in the match. And then they win probably because why the hell not?
Because it's the Bellas. I love Brie Bella comes out, pulls a Moxley, and puts a plastic bag over the NXT talent, and the Bellas take their spot. That's such an NXT thing to do. Throw them off with concrete shoes.
And then we learn that Bryan Danielson was backstage, and they wouldn't allow him to go out to celebrate the tag team title victory with his wife. He had to stay backstage. But old Buddy and Birdie can run down, and they can go celebrate with Mom. But Bryan has to stay in the back. He's not allowed to be shown on screen.
They left him in concessions in a cameraless room. Yeah. There's actually a part of me that thinks that it'll just be Nikki winning the Battle Royal and going to Paris. a free trip to Paris for the Bellas. I think they'd take that over whatever they were going to do at Evolution.
So, I don't know. I mean, maybe yes. Like that's certainly a possibility. I don't know because I'm not trying to get too much into the personal stuff because it's none of my business. But with the whole custody thing, I don't know how Nikki feels about going to Paris and not being able to take Mateo and all that stuff. I just don't know.
Right. It's entirely possible. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Nikki beats Goldberg for the title.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Just Nikki Sawa forearming the shit out of Goldberg.
Perfect.
Goldberg beats Gunther, and then Goldberg's like, I need a real challenger because this little bitch didn't do nothing for me. And then, you can look, but you can't touch. Here comes Nikki. Goldberg's like, what the hell's going on? And then here comes Nikki. And then Goldberg's about to run in for the spear. Nikki hits him with a knee to the face, hits him with a forearm, and then hits him with the Bella Buster. 1, 2, 3. And then Nikki's the champ.
The return of the Iconics.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know that there was reporting of talks, but they are booked for an appearance, I believe, in like Portland. Okay. Some sort of convention. So who knows? We'll see. It's like I said, with the Iconics / the Inspiration, they're TNA, and this is not an NXT Evolution event. This is a WWE Evolution event. So yeah.
There's no TNA talent on this show, right?
The NXT title's on the line. So JC is there. But other than that, TNA talent, no.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait.
Well, I was gonna say, no, I was gonna make a reference like maybe Masha will show up and be a part of that, but I don't anticipate Masha being a part of this show. I just don't. Yeah. Unless they show her in the crowd, because it is the winner of those two go on to face Masha at Slammiversary. But I don't expect her to get involved.
Poor Masha just always shows up just to be in the crowd, and that's it.
That's all they want from her. Just sit in the crowd and, look good with your title. And she's like, okay.
When does Paige show up? I mean, it's possible she shows up at Evolution. Wouldn't surprise me.
She had made reference to wanting to take time off for a year and not do wrestling and then come back when she's ready. And that's the thing I was going to say. She's also been off. I think the surprise would be cool. I think people are both clamoring for her, and she's doing a pretty good job of. She's not saying, well, nobody calls my phone, while also being on a show every Sunday night on A&E that's WWE branded. But instead, she's, exactly. Good cut. So what are you going to do? Michelle McCool being like, nobody called me. It's like, you're there, and you filmed. You're there. What do you do?
But that show was filmed 2 months ago.
But the point stands. She's very much part of this whole thing. I don't care. She's also part of the podcast that's part owned by WWE or has some WWE influence. The Dead Man Show that suddenly she's co-hosting, not the other guy. Anyway, with Paige, she's been as transparent as a wrestler can be, but also has made it seem pretty she's played it cool. If she has been contacted and she is coming in, she's played it cool with whether or not she is coming back. So I'll give her that. I'm not sitting here being like, oh yeah, definitely going to see Paige. Definitely Saray's going to definitely be there. I'm more like, yeah, no, she shows up. That's cool. Good for her. She's back, but I'm not holding my breath for her.
I've given up on the AJ Lee dream.
Yeah, I think she was just playing with everyone when she wore the boots.
Yeah, she does that, but it's been this long. I also don't think that AJ is the type of person, she's very smart, I don't feel like she's going to return. I could be completely wrong. I don't know AJ Lee, but I feel like she's the type of person that wants to return with some purpose and some meaning, and not on some show that was haphazardly thrown together as the third event on a weekend that's kind of underperforming because of where it was placed. I think AJ has a little bit more respect for herself in that she doesn't need to do this because it has been so long. It's well, Why do I need to come back on this show? I don't. If I want to come back, I can come back at WrestleMania. I can come back at SummerSlam. I can come back on an actual like stadium show where it's gonna mean a little bit more. This Evolution show, no offense to it, but it's not like it's a show that they've put a lot of stock into. It's a
Yeah, froze right at the last minute. He had it. He's back.
all right. It's a show that was kind of thrown together, and I think AJ recognizes that, and I don't think she's chomping at the bit to be like, "Oh yeah, I'll come back for this." She's not someone that needs to come back and like save WWE. And that's just, and she's been gone for this long. Punk's been back for almost two years now.
November 23.
Yeah, so Punk's been back for almost 2 years now. So if she wanted to return, there's been the opportunities there for her. I don't think she's looking at this of like, okay, fine, it's Evolution. This is my time. Let me come back here. Like, nah.
Saw that Rhea Ripley retweeted the WrestleTix Evolution numbers.
Oh, okay.
Of all people to do that, it's just rare when you see the wrestlers retweet ticket sale numbers.
I don't even know what the ticket. I legitimately do not fully know what the ticket sale. Was it okay? She did. I see this now.
Yeah, according to WrestleTix, there are 4,800 tickets out the door. Someone had pointed out that there's also a possibility that there are more tickets than that because they scraped things poorly. There was something about like the Saturday Night's Main Event tickets being involved with that. Like anyone who got the combo tickets weren't involved in the total amount of tickets out. So I don't know for sure what that looks like, but Saturday Night's Main Event allegedly has 10,000 tickets out, and there's half of that for Evolution. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay.
But I did notice that it's rare when you see a wrestler retweet a WrestleTix map and not like do it accidentally and keep it up there for several days. Because like Rhea's not totally online, but she does spend time on the internet. Like she does interact on socials. So I'm curious about that.
Look, it's underperforming because it wasn't in a position to perform well. It's the third show of the weekend, and I know NXT's in a smaller venue, and I'm not sure how well that's performing either.
They're close to sold out. I think they're about 100 tickets out, so they're going to be okay.
Yeah, they'll probably get there. Saturday night's main event with Goldberg being the top draw makes sense. Like, it's Goldberg's last match. That is a draw. Goldberg for one night can still draw, especially in Atlanta. He's fine. The Evolution show, what's the big draw of it besides the fact that it's an all women's show? Like, that, I guess they were banking on that, but they don't have any special match that it's like, oh yeah, this is the match you want to go see. We're doing Rhea and Io, which we've seen a bunch of times already this year. Trish and Tiffany's fun, but she's already done her comeback match. Elimination Chamber was her comeback match. So it's not even like it's a Trish Stratus comeback match. Maybe Nikki's going to wrestle, but she's been off TV, so you don't actually know with that. Everything else is just, it's the women you see weekly. So there's no special draw to it outside of it's an all-women show. But I'll kind of give WWE some credit here in that they have done over the years a good job of making the men and women feel on equal levels. The women headline shows. They've headlined Raw. They've headlined PLEs. Have they headlined any PLEs in the Triple H era, actually?
No.
That would be something to look at. But like they're put in prominent spots. They're given better stories. They're given more time. you know, some women have talked about like the real evolution is we were being featured alongside the men. We don't need our own show. No one says let's do an all men's show. So when you just run an all women's show, like it made sense a few years ago because they weren't in those spots, and they did a much better job of building that show, and they had kind of bigger draws with Ronda, Nikki, Charlotte, and Becky in a last woman standing match. Like they just kind of had bigger matches on that show, and it felt like a more special thing. Since then, and we've seen the evolution. Women have headlined WrestleMania and everything since then. So just doing an all women show and expecting it to draw, they kind of set them up for a little bit of failure, because they, to their credit, they've done a good job of putting women in prominent positions over the years, to the point that we didn't necessarily need an Evolution show. And if we were going to get an Evolution show, it should have been put together better. It should have been built with some care and some attention. And it wasn't. And that is where they failed all of these women. Is that they did it, which is fine, but then they put no care and attention into it. They tacked it on to a 3-night weekend. And we know why they did it. And it's drawing maybe how some expected it to draw. Maybe it's underperforming. Maybe it's overperforming, depending on your perspective. I think it would have worked a lot better had they done it. What was the original rumor was this past weekend in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It probably would have drawn a lot better. The build may have been worse because you're taking a week out of things. But as a standalone event, it probably would have done a lot better as a show than putting it on a Sunday. And I haven't even mentioned Beyonce's running that weekend, man. What are we doing? We're going up against Beyonce.
Hey, man, there's not that much crossover between Beyonce and wrestling fans. What are you talking about? It's not like there were 3 black women wrestlers who dressed up, as Beyonce doing the country gimmick at one point. But there's no crossover. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Beyonce is running. That honestly might be the biggest detriment to all of this. Forget that the build has sucked. Forget that it's a 3rd show in a 3-weekend extravaganza or 3-show weekend extravaganza. Forget that. Beyonce's running.
That's a massive event too. Massive. But someone pointed out in the chat, the Elimination Chamber in Perth, Nia and Rhea was the main event in the Triple H. So there's one. That's still one after how many events that have happened? Like it's not that many. So everything you said is exactly this. And like 2 links in the chat has mentioned, Evolution, and I've mentioned this before too. Evolution, the first time was done because they went to Saudi in 2018. Women were not allowed. Only Renee at the time, Renee Young when she was Renee Young, and Natty went at the time. They didn't go to wrestle. Renee went to go do commentary, and they still had her wear something on her head the whole time. And Natty went just to be there and try to convince people or be a good ambassador for WWE. And then they did the Evolution show because they realized, well, no women are going to be on this Saudi show. So we're going to turn this random, Uniondale, New York show into a pay-per-view. And it's going to be called Evolution, and it's going to air on the network, and it'll be a special. And we're going to highlight the women who all couldn't work Saudi last week and give them a payday because we couldn't give them a Saudi payday. So they're going to work. We're going to make them work because they didn't get to go to work, even though they're going to get paid for some of this anyway. And now they go to Saudi, and the women are on the cards, and they're working, and they are fully part of the events. So Evolution, in the eyes of WWE, didn't need to come back. But the reality is, putting a spotlight on their women's division, while they do it, and they do it to an equal mode as the men in certain regards, it's okay to highlight your women's roster once in a while when, like, your mid-card, for example, is not getting any of the care it deserves. So once in a while, you can put something on a show like this to give them something that makes a little bit of sense, or at least gives them a little bit of understanding that this could be better. But here we are. It'll be show number 3 on a 3-show weekend. And that's it.
Eric saying, isn't Beyonce also running Friday and Saturday? No. I'll tell you one better. Beyonce is running Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. She's running 4 shows.
She off on Saturday.
Yeah, she's off on Saturday. She's going to go to All In. She's off on Saturday.
She's doing a Saturday night's main event. Be cool.
But here's the thing. The fact that she looked at this and was like, yeah, let's run 4 shows in Atlanta. Do you know how confident you have to feel to sell out 4 shows in 5 nights in the same city? You got to feel really confident to do that. I don't know what her ticket sales are, but the fact that she is running 4 shows in 5 nights in that city means she feels really confident she can at least get those 4 shows at 85 plus capacity. And I ain't doubting Beyonce, but she is running the same night as Evolution. The one night she's not running is the Saturday, which is, might explain why the WWE tickets are moving a little bit better. But even if they weren't, Evolution was announced like a month ago. This Beyonce tour was announced, I'm sure, beginning of the year. So people probably already got tickets for the Beyonce show. They were probably pretty expensive. Can't exactly be spending more money on these high-ass priced WWE tickets on top of that. But Beyonce's running on Sunday against this show. And yeah, don't kid yourself about, how much crossover is there between Beyonce and WWE, because it's not just the Sunday show of the crossover. You have to think of all the crossover on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Because yeah, people are only going to the show against it on a Sunday. But if people bought tickets for that Thursday, Friday, or Monday show, all of a sudden maybe they can't afford these Evolution tickets on top of that. Maybe they can't plan to do, we're doing something on Thursday, let's do something on Sunday as well. So it's not just, they're running head-to-head on Sunday, which inevitably hurts. The other dates hurt too.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about Beyonce playing some of these wrestlers out to the ring, because the chat's been talking about it. She's going to sing Mystico out to the ring. She's a big Goldberg fan. She's going to sing Goldberg out to the ring. I want her to sing Drew McIntyre out to the ring. I want her to wear the bored at work shirt that Matt got. I love that he goes on socials and he's like, it's a year and a half too late, but I got my shirt. You're welcome for the accent, by the way. You either do them well or you do them poorly. What do? You'll never find out. Either way, Drew McIntyre comes back. He's got Randy Orton at Saturday night's main event, but it was good to see him back. One step closer to the Randy Orton heel turn by facing Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I hope they team up together. They're going to team up and beat up new WWE champion Cody Rhodes the first SmackDown after SummerSlam. Then they'll do a triple threat match. It'll be Cody, Drew, and Randy at the next show. Clash in Paris. They might actually do that. Look at that. I've already planned out your summers, friends. Anyway, SmackDown was fine. There was nothing super duper about it. Trish came back.
Back to 2 hours. I appreciated that.
80 minutes if you watch it on Netflix. No commercials.
Yeah, I did that as well.
They just uploaded that shit and was like, have at it.
They're just running through it. This rules.
It's perfect. They did it with NXT earlier in the week, but I didn't realize until someone pointed it out. It was perfect. I hope they do more of that. But instead, we just get what we get, and we deserved it. Scorpio Sky came back on Collision.
Yeah, good.
How long will it last? I hope he sticks around this time.
I mean, I'd like it to, be a thing. But I don't know if it's going to be a thing. I like that he's paired with Daniels. I think Top Flight that's a good use of them. but they're an ROH act. So how much is Scorpio Sky going to bring them up to the main roster? I think it's a fun trio, Scorpio and Top Flight. I think there's a spot for them in the alleged trios division. I just don't know what it's going to be. Because people have made their returns off of the Max Caster Open Challenge. We're seeing it with Anthony Bowens. Now people are like, oh, is Anthony Bowens going to go heel? That's your bright idea after his return and his split from Caster is just turn him heel? Like, okay. That's almost an admittance that babyface stuff isn't working, which I'm not sure this babyface stuff is working.
Can I posit something, an idea, or at least a
not if you're gonna hate on Billy Gunn.
No, that I had to watch Billy Gunn try to guest referee a PCO match on Saturday. I don't know how
that match ruled.
Such a stupid
PCO is amazing, dude.
Something else.
He's amazing.
We can talk about MLP afterwards, but this should have been Anthony Bowens' presentation when he came back. That's not a knock on Scorpio Sky. But I think if they had done to Bowens what they did to Scorpio, I think we'd be having a different conversation about Anthony Bowens' trajectory. And it's not a knock on Scorp. It's just they gave Scorpio Sky's return more than they did Anthony Bowens. Bowens came back, beat his old tag team partner in a minute, and that was it. The Max Caster thing has been another conversation we've had where he calls someone out and he gets beat up. Nothing really happens after that. You could have taken this whole thing and had Max Caster calling out or doing an open challenge and it being like jobber guys, just guys underneath him that he beats until finally he's got a real challenger and it's Anthony Bowens on his return and he shuts his old tag team partner up. But they didn't go that way. They did the everyone beats up Max Caster and it doesn't really help anyone's story. I think that the Scorpio Sky return, pairing him with a bunch of people and giving him that video could have been better for him. It could have been something better.
So what, Bowens is paired with Top Flight?
Yeah, and you give him the video, the return video and all that stuff. I think they gave Scorpio Sky a really big return, but I don't know if they're really invested in Scorp. Whereas Anthony Bowens, they keep saying they're putting stuff behind him. Like he's going to events outside of AEW, wearing AEW gear, calling himself the pride of AEW, the pride of pro wrestling. Like he clearly is bought in, where Scorp was on the shelf for the last 18 months. And whenever asked about it, he was like, "Oh, he basically was saying I'm benched without saying I'm benched." Again, not a knock at either guy. It's just you can tell Anthony Bowens, there's more investment in him. So why wouldn't you do something like this with him instead of Scorpio Sky?
Because they wanted Bowens as a singles guy, not a...
They paired him with Billy Gunn!
I understand that, but they don't want him as a mentor to Top Flight, because it sort of feels what Scorpio is doing. He's kind of doing a mentor role. I don't know how many matches Scorpio Sky is going to win. Like, beating Max Caster doesn't actually mean anything because literally everybody beats Max Caster.
Which is the problem I got to earlier.
No, I know. We talked about that when Bowens returned. It's all right, cool. You returned and you beat a dude who everybody beats, so it doesn't actually mean a whole lot. It would have meant more if Caster was just beating a bunch of nobodies and claiming to be the best, and now he finally faces a real wrestler and he loses. Like, it would have meant more off of that. But Max is still getting over with this stuff because it's a silly little thing and people think it's funny and they like watching him lose, and that's that. I don't know what the future is for Scorpio Sky. I think, again, there's a good world where he's in like the trios division with Top Flight. I think him teaming with, not teaming as in an actual tag team with Daniels, because Daniels retired, but to teach like Top Flight how to be a better tag team, since I know it was Kazarian that Scorpio won the titles with, but Scorpio was one half of the first ever AEW tag team champions. SCU had success. So Daniels and Scorpio teaching Top Flight like makes sense with that. I just don't know what the ceiling is for Scorpio. I mean, he's a former TNT champion, so they've done stuff with him in the past. Granted, that was a different AEW. I just don't know what the ceiling is just because of the return here. I think he'll be a fine player on Collision, which is cool.
Where
At least
he
he's
was
on,
supposed to be a year and a half ago.
which at least he's on television. At least he's doing something, working with Top Flight. It seems fun, so it's fine. The Bowens stuff is, I mean, they just dropped the ball on that, and whether it's him and not clicking, whether it's what they've done with him, there's blame to go around in all directions, as it typically is when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, him just being still aligned with Billy Gunn, having too many catchphrases and none of them being really defined. And then he's having fine matches, but not standout matches. Again, he's had fine matches against good wrestlers. But he hasn't, the Okada match was okay. The Kyle Fletcher match was okay. The Ricochet match, okay. You can't just have okay matches. That's the other problem. Is people, look, Ospreay and Swerve have said it, and it does hold true because Tony's kind of said this as well. You gotta have top tier matches for people to really remember and really take you serious in AEW. I mean, he was on the show with Okada, and that was the third best match for the men's on the show. Third best singles match. Guess how many men's singles matches there were on that show? He has fine, okay matches. And that ain't good enough in AEW. Okay is not good enough. You gotta be elite, brother.
You guys are going to be so upset when Anthony Bowens wins the Casino Gauntlet.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Wow, not with that attitude, it won't. Show some belief in the Bowens system. He's a 5-tool player. He'll come out he'll be the 5th entrant, and he's going to win it all for himself.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Bowens is going to win the world title. He's going to beat Moxley. It's not going to be Darby. It's not going to be Hangman. Anthony Bowens is going to come out. He's going to win that title.
It's what do you want from Anthony Bowens? I know you're being facetious on winning the world title, but what do you want from him? Because the TNT title, theoretically, that would be a good spot for him. But they're earmarking it for Kyle Fletcher, it looks like. And once Fletcher wins it, we'll see after that. The international title and the continental title are being combined. So where are you going with Bowens? He can be a mid-card guy. There's nothing wrong with that. But historically, they book mid-card people to elevate them into a TNT title picture, or they book them to just kind of lose. Their mid-card hasn't always been the most fleshed out. And you almost got to flesh it out for yourself, like Ricochet did. And Ricochet at least had feuds with Swerve. So that actually was a big time feud. And if you don't have that stuff, you're kind of just, you know how he uses the example? The giant ass loser, Daniel Garcia. That's a guy who, he's a mid-carder. And he had the TNT title. And then after that, he hasn't done a whole lot. And even with it, he didn't do a whole lot. And he said it himself. This line was so bad. I don't know why they cleared this line. I don't know who decided to do this line. But I just don't know why they went forward with this. When he's everybody beats Daniel Garcia. Congratulations. You beat the dude that everybody beats. I get what he's going for. He's trying to be I've been knocked down a bunch. I've been beaten up my whole life. I've been fighting my whole life. But don't point out you're a giant loser. Just don't. Don't do that. Because it's dumb. It's dumb to do that. But yes, I lose all the time. And then he lost the match.
Then he lost anyway.
At least I praised them the other week when they had Hurt Syndicate and MJF call Mark Briscoe a loser. Like, Mark Briscoe loses. Yeah, you're a giant loser. And then Mark Briscoe won. It's like, that's good booking. Tell everybody he's a loser because he loses, which is true when it comes to Mark Briscoe. I've complained about that. But then Mark Briscoe wins. It's like, see, you dickbag Hurt Syndicate, I actually win matches. Telling people you're a loser and then you lose, it's like, well, yeah, you're just a dork. So that's the risk with Anthony Bowens, is you Daniel Garcia him. Because they've done that with a lot of mid-card people. They just kind of lose matches, and maybe at some point they get a here damn title reign. And then once they lose that title, they lose a bunch of matches again.
As one does. Ryan mentioning in the chat, Adam Cole's champion has also been an afterthought, to the point where a lot of us were wondering, like, is Adam Cole still injured during his title reign? Because he wasn't having any defenses. There were barely any matches for a month. And then all of a sudden he's doing, he had a title defense, or he had a 6-man tag, whatever it was. He was involved. But it feels like we're just going to this match with Kyle Fletcher for what feels like a foregone conclusion. That Kyle Fletcher wins, by the way. Kyle Fletcher wins the TNT title. That's the foregone conclusion.
I hate to do this to Adam Cole, but Kyle Fletcher should just run through him.
Honestly. Yeah, you're not the first person to say that.
Oh, okay.
People have said to make it a squash match. I understand the feeling, but like, what is the TNT title at this point? Is it the Collision mid-card title? Because that's the way it's been presented for the last couple of champions. Danny Garcia wasn't running around Dynamite defending it as much. Adam Cole certainly hasn't either. At least that's not the way it's felt. It felt like a Collision specialty, and that's okay if it is. Yeah. I don't know what your, like, again, if the unified title is going to be a more Collision-esque title and the TNT title is going to be a Collision-esque title, that's great. On the other side of things, if the AEW World Title is more of a Dynamite-esque title, that's great. What other men's titles are there that aren't trios or tag? There are no other men's singles titles, right? Because they're about to unify two of them. The ROH title, I don't know if you're going to really count that, but
the champion's on television all the time.
But if you put Collision as like the place where you as a singles competitor can build up the ladder, then that's fine. I don't think AEW needs any new titles. I think you can put emphasis on your tag division on one show, maybe on your trios division on the other, but then you also run the risk of doing what you did when you introduced the trios division, which was cannibalizing your tag division. That was something that kind of became an issue. Then you had to get more people on contract that didn't really need to be there. That's another can of worms for AEW to figure out. But if your TNT title becomes very Collision-esque for building younger talent and building them in the mid-card to then go up against, unfortunately at this point, either Kenny or Okada, which is good or bad depending on how you see the match. And then on the other side of things, you have the world title. I'm curious about the balance of title importance when it comes to Kyle Fletcher as champion and where he's positioned on a place like Collision as a TNT champion.
I would have Kyle Fletcher beat Adam Cole, Goldberg style, sure. Cena Brock style is what I would do with Fletcher and Cole. Obviously, you got to give Cole something. You don't want to just go out there and fully squash the guy. You got to give him something. But I would have Kyle Fletcher look like a monster. I think with Fletcher, but I thought this with Adam Cole, so clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. I would like to think with Fletcher there will be some importance on the TNT title because they've done a great job of building Fletcher up with this. They didn't do a great job of building Cole up with the Garcia stuff because they were doing draws and then DQ finishes and it was two baby faces and it's like, this isn't really working. I had higher hopes because I know how much they value Adam Cole, and I thought that value would translate into a better title reign, and it hasn't. He's been doing commentary, he's been doing trios matches, he's been doing multi-man matches, and that's it. The value wasn't necessarily what they were doing with Cole on television. The value was in my own head of what I know how they value Adam Cole. With Fletcher, we've seen the value on television because he's been wrestling all the time. He's been featured all the time. He's been getting wins over some top talent. He's got Don Callis. Don Callis is always going to get on television. Don Callis is always going to get a line in about Kyle Fletcher. So that gives me hope that this TNT title reign for Kyle Fletcher is going to be the best TNT title reign since Jack Perry had the greatest TNT title reign of all time.
He's going to come back and he's going to cost Ospreay and Swerve. Swear to God, he's going to help the Young Bucks.
I mean,
it's going to happen, baby. It's going to happen. Very excited. Tag titles, now a triple threat. Hurt Syndicate, Jet Speed, and the Cage family added. This is, sure. There was, again, going back to our best pal, Brian Alvarez, who's now doing cameos for us once a month for the winners of the XP contest, only on FightfulOverbook.com. He said, all these WWE guys are coming over and they're not eating pins and they refuse to eat pins. Look at Andrade, look at Miro, blah, 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 blah. And a bunch of people he's like, and now it's happening with the Hurt Syndicate. And I'm like, well, hold on now. I'm pretty sure that Shelton Benjamin has eaten a bunch of pins, considering he also didn't win the Continental Classic. Bobby Lashley has not eaten pins, but Bobby Lashley hasn't been. He's had 2 singles matches his entire.
Bobby Lashley. He shouldn't be eating pins.
He's Bobby Lashley. He should be eating people, not pins. But if this is the one thing that annoys me, if Jet Speed or the Cage family win the tag titles without pinning the Hurt Syndicate, he's gonna have some credence to his arguments. Oh man! But it's a triple threat now. Jet Speed, Nick and Wayne Cage, and the Hurt Syndicate are going to eat people. Is hilarious.
The trios champions are the Ops, by the
allegedly.
way. Zeno Hour. Yeah, they beat the Death Riders because Moxley filled in for Pac, and that set up the Joe and Moxley match. They've made 0 title defenses since winning those titles. Well, they won those belts in like April.
In defense of that, didn't they do something at all? Not all in it. Oh my God!
No.
No.
The answer is no. Whatever your question is, the answer is no.
Didn't something happen at the last pay-per-view
when they were in the Anarchy in the arena?
That's right. I was like, didn't Hook come back for something?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that was. Anarchy in the arena.
Oh yeah, Hook came back, and then he hasn't been on television since.
And then again, he's mentioned it. He caught a concussion early, like when they won the trios titles. So like
they didn't even address that though.
I think they hoped he'd be back sooner than that, and then they just realized, oh shit, we can't do anything because we don't know when he'll be back or if he'll be back. So that's kind of like the weird thing with Hook or the Hook story is you're stuck, right? If they're defending it all in, cool, but they've done no defenses. So
yeah, Claudio did a promo on Collision, and he basically issued the challenge to the Ops. He's like, you have our titles. But Claudio did say, I am the trios champions. Those titles are me or mine. And then Yuta was like, yeah, me too. But that was the promo. It was a challenge. It was not saying they are the champions because they are not the champions. It is the Ops. Yeah, they issued the challenge for All In. I assume Pac returns in that match. I hope it's Pac anyway. And he's back. It does feel a little bit weird that the baby faces have the numbers advantage and we have to wonder who the third Death Rider is. I hope it's Jack Perry. He's the third Death Rider. He's jacking off all over the Ops.
Seems bad. Probably shouldn't let him do that. Shouldn't let him jack off all over the Ops.
That's how Jack Perry rolls, brother.
That's true. A lot of people mentioning the possibility of Gabe Kidd being the replacement.
Okay. That's fine.
I do wonder. I mean, listen, it's a week before because he's got his first match. Actually, that's interesting. His first Block B match in the G1 is against Takeshita on July 19th. So you could, while you're there, also maybe do some content or just have something to build. I doubt they will, but if it's someone like him, then Gabe Kidd coming in, it makes sense because of the Death Riders story that they inserted him in at one point for whatever reason. They could do that.
I'm still waiting on my Gabe Kidd and Mark Briscoe singles match.
The creepy guy off or the scream off.
No, like that match would roll.
It would be. It would just be a hilarious build as well.
They're never gonna. Well, they've done the build. They did the backstage segment. They did Mark Briscoe attacking him at in the Anarchy in the Arena. They just haven't done anything with it because reasons. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be Gabe Kidd as the death threat. Maybe it will be Gabe Kidd, but it feels like it's setting up for Pac. And maybe it's Gabe Kidd. Like, that's fine if it's Gabe Kidd. At least that would tie some things together of why he's actually showed up and did stuff. But,
Gabe Kidd, AEW Trios champion, then goes back to Japan to work the G1.
Yeah, that's what would happen. He would go to the G1 and it's like, all right, cool. We're not going to defend these titles even more than we already didn't defend these titles.
It's perfect. I mean, it's not like they do it in Ring of Honor with the 6-man championships. Remember them? Where are those
Dustin
guys?
Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs, brother.
Where are the Von Erichs for this Texas event that everyone was like, oh, it's Texas. The Von Erichs will definitely be there. And don't tell me they're injured because they're back. They've been back. They're okay. They're back.
They will be. They'll be part of this show. And
they'll announce something this week.
They'll defend the trios titles. Oh, yeah. They're going to do that bit where they announce like 15 things on the Thursday before.
It'll be during the Tony Khan media call this week. Tony's going to make it official.
Man, I can't believe that they didn't run this. They're going to run this 4-hour ROH event on a Friday, and I'm going to be so annoyed by it.
I will not be watching.
It starts at 8.
Stupid.
It's like, do we need this show? Like, do we...
And they're not doing any press post show. So Tony's like, I can do this all night. No, they're not doing the media. They haven't announced a media scrum. They told people there wasn't going to be one.
For ROH?
For ROH.
Okay, then I hate the fact that they're doing a 4-hour show less. Because I would have been super annoyed if it's like, do you really need to do a post-show press conference for this show? You're going to do one at All In. Why do we need one for this ROH show? Fine, you want to do a 4-hour show. I still think it should start at 7, just so it's over by 11. But if there's no press conference after, I'm way more forgiving that they're running a 4-hour show if there's no press conference. Cool, go do your 4-hour show. Don't do 6 hours, please.
Yeah, you're gonna get 6 hours. You will get 6 hours.
Well, it's gonna be 6 hours because they're gonna do the buy-in or whatever they call it, the 0 hour. So it's going to be at least 5 because the 0 hour is at least an hour because they put like 3 matches on that thing. I just hope my guy, Blake Christian, is on the show and winning because he actually wins on ROH. And they tried to set him up for an ROH title shot, and then they were like, LOL, we're just going to give the title shot to Takeshita instead.
LOL, JK, brother.
Nah.
Blake Christian should start using his creative control to get more title matches that he wins.
Blake Christian should use his creative control to be on our show.
That's true. Blake, if you're listening, use that creative control, brother. Is there anything else we got to talk about? Can we preview Raw and get out of here?
I guess so.
All right. Well, on Raw tonight, Penta decided that he's going to face Seth Rollins tonight. Basically just put stuff on socials being all, hey, I'm going to do it.
They confirmed it.
Then they confirmed it. Becky Lynch will be on the show. She's got a new T-shirt out that says "Held Down by the Man," so that's cute.
It's funny that T-shirt's like definitely designed by Rue. It's pretty funny.
Hey man, I love it. That's get your girl some money. I love it. Sami Zayn takes on Braun Breaker in a match that I'm sure won't be a wonky finish. Jey Uso takes on Bronson Reed in a match that I'm sure won't have a wonky finish. And finally, oh, that's interesting. It's going to be Roxanne Perez versus Kairi Sane in a match that will probably not have a wonky finish, but will definitely bring Asuka out to save Kairi Sane when Raquel Rodriguez tries to get involved in the finish. And then we'll set up the tag team of Kairi Sane and Asuka going for the tag titles at Evolution this coming Sunday. Look at us. I just gave you all the information you need to get you through Monday Night Raw. I don't know where they are tonight. Oh, I do. They're in. Oh, they're running opposite Beyond, but they're not. But Beyond's not where they normally run.
Rhode Island. Yeah, they're in Providence tonight.
They're in Providence because Beyond was like, we're running live too. We're running against Raw. Come and see us instead. And people are like, why? But anyway, if you like indie wrestling, you can go watch Beyond. People are mentioning, yes, NXT is going to be live at the Met in Philadelphia, August 19th. This was reported a few weeks ago by a multitude of places, wasn't it?
No.
Did we talk?
the report was 2,300, which is not true.
Yeah, we still got the date. That's fine.
Okay, but the venue, everyone thought it was 2,300 because AEW is running their residency with 2,300, and obviously this is not the 2,300.
Have they considered running it at the 2,400?
So it is the Met in Philadelphia, and it is going to be Tuesday, August 19th. The Met is just a few miles away from 2,300. It's not like they're too far up the road or anything. It's pretty close. We see what's happening. I would assume they couldn't run 2,300. Don't know this for certain. I would assume they couldn't run 2,300 because of the building clause that is with a lot of arenas, right? You can't run within, typically it's a couple months of another promotion kind of running. This is a pretty standard thing that people freak out about and think it's a bigger deal than it actually is. But I assume that's why they couldn't run 2,300. So they just decided, all right, fine, we'll run a venue that's 4 miles up the road.
They wanted to keep the New Jersey riffraff out, closer to the New. Well, I guess both are close to the bridge, but more in town. The Mets got to keep them Jerseyites out. They're gross. Well, either way, they're playing the Met. Meet the Mets, NXT Philly, August 19th. Anything else we got to cover? We did the Raw thing.
Yeah.
We did everything else. Scorpio Sky came back. Tag titles. Drew McIntyre came back.
Yeah.
Mercedes creative control is not what she has. Moxley, Charlexa, talked about Takeshita, talked about music, talked about sports. The Mets are in fact from New York. I think that's it. Anything to plug before we go back to our other home on Fightful Overbooked, where they never let us out except for once a month on a Monday?
I don't think so.
I don't think SmackDown was awful. Someone in the chat saying. I thought SmackDown was eventful. Not
SmackDown,
like super busy eventful, just eventful.
SmackDown was fine because I watched it in 80 minutes, so it kind of ruled, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Andrade and Rey Fenix had another really fun tag team match, and people are like, why is Rey Fenix being treated this way? And it's like, Andrade's on TV, he's happy. That's why. That's all.
Rey Fenix as a tag team guy is... They wanted him to team with Penta, now he's just teaming with Andrade. Why are people mad about that for Rey Fenix? I don't get it.
Noted mask guy, Andrade. He used to wear a mask. Come on.
He used to, yeah. He did.
There it is. Zeno Hour saying, as punishment for going over by 3 minutes you're hosting tomorrow. Shit. Oh, well. For Jeremy Lambert, you know who I am. You know who he is. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Comment on how much you just love In the Weeds and how you'll be following us over to Fightful Overbooked, because that's what you want to do, right? That's what you want to do. Till then, ladies, gentlemen, friends of the Battery, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.